Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Hopefully my sound is fixed. Guys, let me know how my sound is. That's what I wanted right there. Guys, welcome in. My audio might pick up some things, I don't know, tonight. Because I changed the compression and some other things. JD Vance with Pope Francis. Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter. Sunday night here. Didn't do any videos today. There's just not a lot of news, honestly, and it's Easter. So, figured I would do a live stream. Sounds good. Yeah, you want to know the thing is, I think I was doing the same shit that I had done before, to where I was plugging my microphone USB into the same port, or the port right next to the one that I have for my webcam. I think that might have been it. Peer for PM, that's going to be big, man. We'll see. I'll do some videos on that this week for sure to see how it's going. But yeah, the Canadian election is a week from Monday, so 8 days away. And I'll definitely be live for that, probably around 7 o'clock, very likely. Trump had his Gulf of America hat today. I saw that. It was golfing. Why aren't you watching WrestleMania? Dude, I haven't watched WrestleMania in probably... When I was younger, I watched WWE. Maybe like 12 years, 13 years. Tim Dillon, thoughts on him with Rogan? Yeah, Tim Dillon is definitely releasing something. I don't know exactly what. Somebody was telling me about it, so he's making the rounds, and that's what comedians do. They'll go on different shows. He was on Piers Morgan, Tim Dillon was. So it doesn't really surprise me, but that's just what they do. I didn't really listen to much of it, honestly, man. Dem's still crying about MS-13. Yeah, it is insane at this point. And I put out a tweet, and it's kind of a bigger picture in terms of just the way our country is. And I view our country as, at least within the past 20 years, we've gotten extremely left-wing relative to what we were in like the 1900s. And even Obama and Clinton, I mean, you're talking about millions. Now people do embellish the deportation numbers of Obama especially, but also Clinton. And a lot of Obama's deportations were originally built on the infrastructure that W. Bush put in place in the effects to the whole war on terror and everything like that. But still, I mean, they're allowed to deport all these people. Trump can't deport anyone. There's all these injunctions. It's terrible. And a lot of it is TDS. They're just trying to make it as hard as possible for Trump. You would think this would be relatively easy for Trump, the deportation of all these people, because the Republicans won both chambers. Trump won in not a landslide. I don't want to over-embellish it, but he won every swing state. He won the popular vote when no one thought he could, especially no Democrat. And so you'd think this would be smooth sailing in terms... I mean, people are criticizing Trump because the deportations are not anywhere close to where they need to be. So we already have low deportation numbers relative to the expectations that we thought we were going to get. And on top of that, we're getting criticism for deporting people that aren't legal, that have MS-13 gang member tattoos. So it just shows you the shift of the country and how crazy it is. Anything that Trump does, it's terrible. We cannot allow it. Even if we don't have any power in the House or the Senate, we have to somehow come out against it. And that's what they're doing with this jurisdiction and all these judges. No new video today. I mean, there's just not much news. I could have done something, but it's like it's Easter. I'll just let it breathe for a little bit. It's been tough, man. There really has not been a lot of news. This last week was terrible with news. It was really just like rehashing the tariff stuff with no real news on the tariffs and the gang member, which to me, you do one or two videos on it and that's it. And it's just not a big boon in terms of views for me. Charlie Kirk going on Bill Maher. It's not surprising. Maher just had Steve Bannon on. Think of Think of this. Why would the court say he feared a rival gang if he wasn't right? Why would he need protection in the United States from El Salvador in the first place? But to me, that's just one case anyways. How many people need to be deported? You're talking about one singular case. Zelensky said he's not going to accept the deal. What deal? The ceasefire they're trying to put together? Because Ukraine already accepted the original ceasefire agreement. It was Russia who didn't accept, and then they agreed on a partial ceasefire, and then Russia claimed Ukraine broke it when I would presume they targeted infrastructure that was supposed to be a part of the ceasefire. That's a complete mess, and Trump is getting very angry about it, and that's why Rubio came out and said, we were trying to work with it. I think it's a bluff. They're going to try and end it. It's not like, oh, we're going to walk away. But at some point, you have to say, well, let's try and push this and get this moving a little bit. So let's threaten to walk away on this peace deal because there's just no movement with either of these sides. Thoughts on Trump caving to Iran? Did he? What do you mean caving? I mean, what? There has to be a military. There's no justifiable military action the United States supports in the Middle East for Israel against Iran. We're not escalating Middle Eastern war again. It's not happening. It is not an option. So if you want to say he caves down the road, it doesn't matter. We're not doing that. That's better than any deal Zelensky ever would get. Ukraine is cooked. Well, I mean, Trump said there was going to be a minerals deal agreed to on Thursday, which we'll see if that ends up happening. This is a new deal. So there's another new deal now that Zelensky says he doesn't want to agree to. Zelensky says no to the deal. Oops, I had all caps on. Oh, this was just a ceasefire. Is this what you guys were talking about? Because I heard about that. That was just a 30-hour ceasefire. That was only just a truce for 30 hours. Great video you did earlier about the annexation of Canada and Greenland. You think splitting up the PNW would make it easier for GOP to handle? Well, there, I've heard people say pretty much all of Canada is liberal. I'm not sure how possible it is or how wise that would be. I would still be interested in Alberta and Saskatchewan. British Columbia has a lot of people. Or I don't know. I think they've got a similar amount of people as Alberta. But it'll depend on if Carney wins or not. And then there'll probably be some dialogue regarding Alberta doing something. I don't think they're going to do anything. To me, logistically, it's just so hard. But who knows? Are you willing to admit Trump has delivered less than expected? Well, it's very hard to quantify me and my expectations with Trump, considering we're 4% into his presidency. So, yeah, I'm not willing to admit that at all, considering it's extremely early in his presidency. Delivered in terms of the arrests with Epstein and all that stuff, if you want to say, let's see what happens. I mean, this stuff doesn't get solved overnight. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, Trump's been a complete letdown. Democrats are pushing another signal leak, possibly fake. Really? There's been a second Hegseth signal chat leak. Hegseth said to have shared attack details and second signal leak. Yeah, but this is the same thing. This is talking about Yemen. This is old news. Lots of protests this weekend. Yeah. There's going to be that. It's going to be like that every weekend now that the weather's getting nicer out, man. They were just waiting for the weather to get nicer. And we'll see what happens in the summer. I mean, there's a lot of racial tensions that are high after the Metcalf murder. And yeah, we'll have to see, man. George, happy Easter. What about Manitoba? Do you want to include Manitoba with Alberta and Saskatchewan? Yeah, I'd be open to it. Manitoba's more liberal, but it's got a small population. Better buy IMG, Infinite Money Glitch, or Efficiency Coin. But yeah, I would not touch Efficiency Coin, dude. There's a lot of bearish thought with that because who knows what happens to Musk. I mean, there's thoughts that Musk is going to be stepping back within the next few months. I wouldn't touch it. The Money Glitch coin is brand new. I would heed that and leave that as well. Those new coins, you never know, man. They're unstable. They don't really have floors. But I got out a weed coin and I've rotated, and I'll tell you guys later tonight what happened. Hakeem Jeffries was bitching about David Hogg. Well, Hogg is wasting money primarying their own. And apparently I was looking and they were saying that Hogg is spending all this money on these unwinnable races in the House. I mean, it's a mess with him. I don't know how he became the leader strategically. I mean, you listen to him on MSNBC. This is like third grade level political analysis he gives. But you know, he does the whole thing where they're young and they need to be even more left wing. They're not left wing enough. They need to be more left. And so that's what young people say. It's like they're not left enough. That's what Tim Walz said about the party. He's like, well, we got to be more brash and more liberal. Well, I mean, how much more liberal at this point? It's like the country has shifted so liberal. How much more liberal can you be? But this is the typical thing, Republicans and Democrats. Republicans say the left has gone really left. Democrats say the right is fascist. Biden is reportedly having trouble finding anyone to book his $300K per speech appearances. Yeah, I saw that. New York Post. Pathetic. I mean, Biden is just who would even be interested? I remember this with the Easter Bunny, and then Biden had one. Nice family photo there. Where's that thing? Yeah, they did Photoshop Biden into this picture. He was sleeping. Sounds like you lost money. No, I didn't lose money on Weedcoin. I made money. I made money on Weedcoin, significant money. You should see I mean, I didn't make it. I didn't sell at the absolute top, but I sold high enough to make good money. Do you think the fighting for the El Salvador, yeah, it's not going to help the Democrats? There's no one that really relates to that. It's more pandering in an 80-20 issue. But what happened is they realized the Trump administration made an error in terms of deporting him to El Salvador. They could have deported him anywhere else. This was not a situation to where they randomly picked someone off the street and said, oh, you have tattoos, we're going to deport you, we're racist. No. This is someone that had been declared by courts to be gang affiliated. He had a protective order in the United States from being sent to El Salvador because it was very likely gang affiliated. And they sent him back to El Salvador, and the Trump administration said, we made a mistake. We shouldn't have sent him to El Salvador. We should have sent him somewhere else. But then El Salvador and their president Bukele said, we're not extraditing him, so you can't take him. And the Supreme Court ruled that the United States had to facilitate his return, but they didn't have to go in and grab him if El Salvador did not want to extradite him, and they said they're not doing it. They just met in the White House. So that's really it. So they tried to get Trump on this thing to where it's like, you're just randomly taking someone that, it's like a minority and has tattoos. Well, no, that's not what happened here. Nobody cares about Hegseth leaks except anti-American leftists. I mean, what is it? We're going back to the whole Yemen thing again. This is just old bullshit. How many times do you go live in a week? Like 5? Play Tim Walt's daughter bitching, Hope Waltz. Yeah, I saw her. She's been all over. Just Republicans keep posting her. She's angry, but all of it is like this performance of, oh, they're the Third Reich, they're fascist. It's all the same used bullshit. There's not a new argument. I just when you have the theatrics like that, what is the argument here? I just explained the situation. I mean, it is what it is. The guy, he's not even legal here. Maryland man, well, yeah, they started using that because they know it sounds like. I mean, we know what we all picture when you picture a Maryland man. It's like, that's just not what it is at all. But there's a connotation when you say it in the media. Right now, Dems are playing up the Sixth Amendment being broken as ICE tries to deport illegals. Well, ICE is within their rights. That's why Trump needs to, and they are trying to up the funding of ICE. ICE is extremely important. You have to up the infrastructure. This is just a crazy mass deportation, and we really don't have precedent in terms of laws in place because nobody thought we would have to deport this many people. Nobody thought there would be so much negligence to allow for this many people to come into the country illegally. So we do not have anywhere close to the infrastructure that needs to be built up to deport 3 or 4 million per year. You would have to deport more than that if you wanted all of them out under Trump. But even 3 to 4 million, they can't even get to 1 million. They're saying apparently they can't even get to like 1,000 a day from some of the stuff that I've heard. But they said they might be able to get to 700 or 800K per year in deportations. Just there's no laws to facilitate something like this. Nobody thought we would have this many illegals into the country. That's why they had to try and find a law in 1978, the Alien Enemies Act, and then the Supreme Court ruled it at least in a certain. They ruled for Trump, and then in another instance they ruled against him in terms of deportation. But I think it's specific. It's like, do they get their day in court? Well, how do you set up 4 million court hearings? Nobody expected this many illegals to be into the country. We don't have anything set up to be able to handle the deportation of these under the Constitution. Them's crying over text, but we're quiet for the 13 lost in the withdrawal. Well, that's their team. So, of course, they don't give a shit about that. They defend the Afghanistan withdrawal. They said, well, Trump, he should have done it. He didn't, he was going to, but Trump was going to do it. But, yeah, there's no defending that from them. When did I buy? I bought it around like 140K, 150K MC. Love that zombie video. Did you see that? You might be the only one. That was a good run, man, I had. That's a fun map to play. It really is. Especially first room, you don't have to worry about buying doors or anything. It's like a quick thing. Any updates on the wall? Are they going to try and finish? Well, they're working on the wall. I don't know what the update is, but I know they're definitely investing more into finishing it. There's certain areas, and this is why I was angry about it. There's certain areas to where you can't fully connect it because of natural territorial. It's like the topography makes it to where you can't finish it. It's unfortunate because I want a fully connected wall. I just want to see it fully connected because I'll feel better about like the security. But they've shut the border down. And even people that have been critical of Trump, they have to admit, I mean, we've shut the border down. There's barely any crossings at this point. It's just not happening. So that's one of the big pros for Trump. That's why I always tell people, and there's really no arguing it. He was elected to do that. He did it, and he did it right away. Look at the border encounters in February. Look at them in March. They're record 20, 25-year lows. Do you think China has better infrastructure than the United States? Well, in terms of manufacturing and mass buildup, it's really not surprising considering their population. But they build a lot. A lot of the stuff that they build is extremely cheap. But they've got a much bigger population, so they're going to have more factories, more manufacturing, all of it. And on top of that, we've got the trade with them, which is trying to be corrected to a degree. It's not going to fully be corrected. It can't be because of their labor laws. But with the trade, these companies in the United States realize it's easier to buy from China, so that's why they've built up even more in terms of infrastructure, manufacturing, all of it. I agree. This is just a start. We have to get strong leadership post Trump 2028. This is going to take time. What happened with Hegseth? I think it's a nothing burger. It's something. I think it's something about the signal chat. They're trying to play it up again, like, oh, it's a new story now. No, this was 3 weeks old. We're not doing this again. It's like, oh, now he leaked it to his mom. Like, what? He told his mom about signal, about plans to bomb the Houthis. You just patrol the gaps, no big deal. Yeah, well, that's what they're doing. Apparently they sent a ton of border patrol down there. What would you rank Black Ops 2 out of 10? Black Ops 2 is a really good game, like 9 out of 10. Can Trump stop complying with court orders? If the courts decide to bring charges against the administration, Trump can technically pardon them all. Well, yeah, I mean, Trump has been really nice, and he's tried to go about this the nice way, but it's getting ridiculous in terms of being able to deport criminals or gang members and not being allowed to. When do these things come out with? Does Bill Maher just drop an episode randomly on Sunday? I mean, this is like... All right, well, we'll go ahead and react to this here in a second. Yeah, what was the story about China building a bridge in like 12 hours? I think that was China. It had to have been China. Modern Warfare 2 was your favorite? Yeah, when I was younger, I never really played multiplayer much. So I only like zombies mainly. Nothing in entertainment is what it used to be. Shows, movies, games all suck. Can't remember a new IP being good at everything. Unoriginal copy. Oh, it's terrible. Like, even go back 10, 15 years with movies, it's remarkable. The last 5 or 6 movies I've gone to, they're just extremely weak. And there's no nostalgia either. They always say it's nostalgia. No, it's just worse. I mean, sports are worse as well. 1,000% sports are worse. Why isn't there any court appearances for Biden opening the border? Well, opening it in a unbelievably obvious way to where he said, yeah, we're going to take away all the things that Trump put in place to secure it because what Trump is doing is like a dictatorship. Oh, you're not letting anyone in. Well, I mean, you let in 20 million people or whatever it is. Why isn't there a third term coin? Because, I mean, what it's kind of irrelevant at this point. I mean, maybe in 2027 or 2028. Which countries will get a trade deal first? I would say Vietnam, possibly Argentina, maybe one of those. Any predictions on the NBA playoffs? I would say Cavs win. I don't think the Thunder are going to make the finals. Imagine Georgia flips blue and New Jersey, New Hampshire shift red. What a weird map. Yeah, I mean, I think people are kind of gearing up for Georgia to flip. The suburbs are just so liberal in Georgia. Who knows? It'll be very close. You can't say anything for certain right now. It's too early. But Georgia will be interesting. New Hampshire is always a possibility. I think Vance could do better with a state like New Hampshire than Trump did. They've got so many independents in New Hampshire. Almost 700 views tonight. Do I seriously have 700 people? Well, it's, a lot of it is from people getting notifications then. Most of the time I upload 2-3 videos a day and then they don't get notifications on my live stream. NHL better than NBA? I don't think so, man. But honestly, I don't like the NBA anymore. When are we going to invade Canada? Need some of that freedom. We're not going to invade Canada ever. There's no point. Unless something crazy happened in Canada to where they were being invaded or something, or they became extremely aggressive. It's just not logical to invade Canada for the United States as a country. We really don't need it. We could use some of the resources for sure. But, unless something happens, it would never be an invasion. It would be an annexation. And I think it would probably go by provinces, too. It wouldn't be the whole entirety of Canada at first. Eventually, it may be Canada. Yeah, guys, make sure you like the stream. Notifications have been better recently. Well, that's good. Yeah, notifications have just been... I mean, it's been a lull in news. It is what it is, I think we're going to get some big news this week. We got the Canadian election next week. Probably tariff deals. I mean, if we get some good tariff deals, I can do videos on that. But may take time. Or I guess trade deals. They wouldn't be tariff deals, but... Does anyone understand how large the number 20 million represents? Well, 20 million, that's the amount of immigrants that came into the country legally from like 1990 to 2010 was 20 million. And then you've got all these illegals coming in the span of 4 years. We thought that was, I mean, there's no way to fully estimate how many illegals are here. People say 10 million, 20 million. I don't know. Look up Trump's tariff list. I'm in a deep seek coin. That's why I was looking it up. Trump tariff. Yeah, Japan is another one. Japan, 90%. So there's a lot of talk, I think, with Japan. Japan's South Korea, not North Korea. South Korea, Vietnam, the UK, Israel, Argentina, India, Australia, Mexico, EU. I mean, the EU and then singular deals with Germany and France. That's strange. It would just be the EU, I thought. You would love to know more about the tariff deals. Have any countries made deals? No, not yet. Maybe this week. Maine desperately needs a Republican governor. If we don't, you'll be shocked. Mainers are pissed about the trans agenda. Yeah, what's happening there with the leadership within Maine saying no to what, I mean, Trump called out, I don't know, one of the senators, but he said, listen, you need to stop this bullshit with biological men and women's sports. It's crazy, but they keep going with it. So Trump said, I'm going to cut out your federal funding. And apparently they're just doing this as it's like performance art against Trump. It's crazy. Man, it's a nice night sky tonight. Did Biden beat Medicare? Yeah, he beat it to death. It's just a nerdy inside joke, man. Not really an inside joke, but... You should see the states. Thank you for the $10, Independent. See the states of the UK. It's horrible. Or £10 letting any boats in now. Yeah, I mean that is crazy. I mean, that is an invasion. It's an invasion. There's these third worlders from Africa, from the South. They need to be turned away. Go home. No, you're not coming in. You're racist for not letting us in. Well, then we're racist. You're not coming in, man. We're done with it. That's what needs to be done in the UK. There's no boats coming in. But it's unfortunate when you got liberal leadership, they just allow their country and their culture to be completely trounced over. And then what happens to the UK at a certain point? I mean, that's why we're waiting to see. It's interesting in Europe. Has the pendulum swung too far? See, I'll get people that comment on my X and say, well, it's already swung too far. There's no way. When you talk about maybe the Reform UK, the AFD, other parties, Le Pen, has it gone too far? I don't know if it has, because the thing is with Europe, a lot of those countries have 3 or 4 or 5 different parties that get significant votes. It's not like the United States to where it's just 2 parties. So maybe a conservative party can rise and get a serious majority in those countries. But how do you even go about fixing that? Would they have to start deporting a bunch of people? I don't know about Europe, man. It's hard. Appreciate you, Big Dog X. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Michael, happy Easter, man. You told me Bitcoin bottomed on Saturday night. I wasn't even live last night. You got me mixed up with someone else, bro. But Bitcoin bottoming, I mean, what, like a local bottom? Do you think the Dem Party will collapse if we keep that? There's too much money in the Democratic Party. There's too many Democrats in general. The party will just shift one way or another. It's not going to cease to exist. Keep the House in 2026. It's going to be thin, but Republicans could keep it. It's 50-50. There's no way to say. We have to see everything that Trump does economically. Japan is a better ally than every European country, in your opinion. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been... It's like a lot of talking about Japan being our number 1 best ally. And we nuked them. You think Paul Revere needs to need more conservative leadership in the West? Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying, especially in North America. Because I don't think Alberta would ever happen. Maybe for my channel it would be better if Carney wins, because I could make a bunch of videos about it, and they might have a referendum. But even if they have a referendum, there's other stipulations with it's like a Clarity Act that have to be passed within the Canadian government, which involve things outside of Alberta. Now, technically, if they did have a referendum and it was like 70-30 to where they said we want to leave, then Trump could get involved and say we recognize them, and yeah, they're going to join us, and there's really nothing Canada can do about it if the United States really wants Alberta, because what are they going to do? Go to war with us over Alberta after Alberta voted to leave? That's not going to happen. But to me, I think it's more complicated than that. So it's like, but the thing is, For the United States to get maybe a little bit of a better deal, you would want Carney to win in terms of trade and just the softness of liberals, but I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. Plus, Canada is so non-threatening just in terms of their population. I mean, they've got the population the size of California. They just have such a small population. And so do we really want more third worlders coming in and them doubling their population with liberal leadership for the next 20 years? It's just not advised. Friday night, you're bad, long weekend. All right. No, I can understand. Yeah, it was pretty late on Friday night when I went live. We need to be closer with Japan, Italy, Poland. Yeah, Italy and Poland are definitely favorites of mine in terms of the way their politics are shaping, just in terms of Europe compared to a lot of the other countries. Sammy, what's up, man? With us on the hunt for minerals, you wonder why we haven't looked in South America more. You understand he wants the Arctic for mineral and trade. China has a stronghold overseas with South America. Well, you know, man, it's not necessarily fully about finding rare earths. We have a lot of rare earths in the United States. It's more about the refinement of rare earths that we can't do because of economic concerns. That's the main issue. If we could refine rare earths, it would be a lot easier. Now, I'm not saying Greenland doesn't have a lot. They do. They've got a ton of rare earths. And it's not just the rare earths. It's also the Arctic control is what we want. But it's not like, well, China, just because of where they're located, they're lucky and they have all they've hit. It's like hitting a gold mine. That's not what rare earths are. Like, we have huge deposits of rare earths. We just can't refine them. The refinement goes, we have to ship our rare earths to China. That's the issue. Would you genuinely consider an Albertan as an American if they joined? Well, you know how there has to be. It has to get used to it. I mean, it'd probably take a few decades for people to get used to it. We need to leave NATO. Fuck those ungrateful EU libs. Yeah, I mean, if we leave NATO, it is a very complicated process in terms of doing that. And I think if we do leave it, Trump should leverage leaving it. But the question is, if we leave NATO, it's a seismic thing, and you have to think, well, if liberals get into power, this is why there's no way, and honestly, I would not really want to make a strong military agreement with Russia just because of how untrustworthy they are. But even if Trump were to make some type of agreement, like some conservatives have said he should, liberals hate Russia. So how the hell would that agreement work if, with a liberal government in the United States, it would just get torn up immediately. Weedcoin crashed. Yeah, I know. I sold it. But I mean, we knew it was going to crash on 420. Do you think if Alberta joins U.S., then Saskatchewan and Manitoba and BC join, then Trump buys territories, the rest collapses economically, so it joins? Yeah, well, that would be a problem. We wouldn't want that. And so that's why it's like, if I'm the United States, I'm really not interested in that type of territorial acquisition. I don't see a big reason for it. If anything, you want to take very smally populated, like minuscule populated areas like Greenland. Perfect. 57,000. It's nobody. There's nobody on Greenland. So it doesn't change anything. We don't have to bring in millions of people. I'm not interested in bringing millions of people in as Americans. I'm not. On Truth Social, Trump listed his non-tariff cheating countries. It's a list of 8 things. On Truth Social, Trump did. If we make a minerals deal with Ukraine, if the war continues, do we have to worry about Putin destroying those mines? Well, it's way more if that happened, because there's minerals all over Ukraine. It's not a specific spot, especially rare earths. people say, well, rare earths are in the Donbass. No, that's really not where the rare earths are. The rare earths are more so just all scattered all throughout Ukraine. Supposedly, some people don't even think there's huge deposits of rare earths in Ukraine. But if that happened to where Russia's advancing over like central Ukraine, there's a bigger issue than us being disrupted in terms of our mining operation, because that would be a huge aggressive advancement by the Russians. And so that would be more of an EU thing. I mean, the other thing is Russia is trying to be on America's good side 100%. To a degree, I guess. Because, to be honest, Russia really has not cooperated with the ceasefire that Trump was trying to install. But they would rather be on, because they know that Trump will play ball with them more than the liberals would. Will a ceasefire pump the markets? It would be bullish, but it's a short-term thing. The markets are going to recover. They're going to take time. There's going to be all these these free trade agreements, and there's going to be a recovery process. We still don't know about a recession or anything like that. We have to see what the GDP growth is. That's coming out this week as well, the 25th. So look for April 25th, what the first quarter growth was or loss. There's probably a market on it. And people think that it might come negative. Let's see. So it's looking like 0 to 1%. So yeah, it looks like we're going to have a positive GDP growth. That's going to avoid a recession. You're not going to, because then you would need Q2 and Q3 to be negative. Even if it grows by 0.5 or 1.5%, it's not negative. With the pace the world is going, we should take Greenland. No one would be mad in a week. Yeah, that's the thing with Greenland. If we did do some type of invasion, people would get angry, and then a week later, I feel like it would be smoothed over. So you could do something like that, and you'd get the initial outrage, but some people get really like... It is crazy to hear some people reference, like, Greenland being one of the reasons why Trump is such an evil person. Like, he's trying to invade Greenland. And they'll list that as like one of the huge things he's doing this presidency on why he's bad. $50K to invest for 3 years. Well, that's tough because you're giving... So I have to take it out in 3 years? Well, I mean, it probably wouldn't be a crypto then, because the way the crypto markets work. It'd probably be I'd probably have to find a stock. No, I mean, you could, but the thing is, because with crypto, if you threw it into something, it's probably going to go down after like 6 or 7 months if we get this bull run anyways, if you have to keep it in for 3 years. Blue chip stocks are a good play with prices down, good time to get in. Yeah, I know it is it's a good buying zone for sure on stocks, 100% right now. The girl from Snow White is getting death threats. Yeah, so that's what happens with these people. And look, I don't think people should send people death threats. I've never sent anyone a death threat. But this is how they do. They say all this shit. They know people are going to get angry about it. And then they cry when people are angry about it. That's what happens. It's the internet. People are going to send shit to you. When does she call Trump to make a deal? No other country on the planet consumes as much as the U.S. I know, but you know what the thing with the Chinese is, they really don't care about their citizens suffering. They don't want to appear weak on the world stage, especially going up against the United States. So they'll allow their citizens to suffer. They dealt with deflation. They had zero COVID policy where no one was allowed to do anything and their economy sucked. They're a strange country. And all of their economic numbers are allowed to... Like, if the CCP collapses, I feel like it'll come kind of out of nowhere. Just because their numbers are all fraudulent anyways, it's hard to really tell. If Trump took Greenland, libs would just give it back despite him. I don't think they would. Especially if we set things up within the administration. like setups. It's a territorial acquisition. Liberals would probably start like they would apologize and say we need to offer the citizens there more. And I don't think they would give it back though. That would be, it wouldn't really be. They're not that stupid, but they would certainly do things like if we left NATO, I could see them trying to get back into it, things like that. But like Greenland, I don't think so. You want to invest for 3 years? Well, then I would say if you want to invest for 3 years, then put it towards a house. And, it's a good time to get in the market. S&P, NASDAQ, look at those, I guess. I mean, I'm not great in terms of stock advisement. What do you think of Portland baseball team? Oregon passed an $800 million spending bill for a stadium. What, $800 million? Yeah, stadium in Portland. They want a weird stadium where it's... I guess it's not weird, but similar to what T-Mobile Park is. It's a umbrella roof, so it's open, but there is a roof that goes over it. But the airflow is clean. It's not like a climate controlled, so it probably like 1.5, 1.6 billion for something like that. I don't know. These new stadiums are brutal, man. They're all like 30,000 seat stadiums. It's tough. Even that is changing, but I guess that's not too surprising. They just want optimization. People can watch it from home. Not many people go to the games. And then you limit the capacity and drives the demand up, ticket prices up. Did you see the liberal boomer with the fingers up while waiting to vote? What, in Canada? I think I did see that clip, yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Canada. I mean, what is it, 80-20, 75-25 right now? Bull run is happening in June, July. Rate cuts, QE tariff deal settled, possibly ceasefire. Yeah, I don't know about June, July. That seems pretty early for that. I think market recovery happens. But a bull run, the ultimate highs to me are a little bit later than that. Even the 4-year cycle would suggest they're later for Bitcoin and for alt season. Greenland is full of ice. Well, not along the coastlines, but yeah, it's a complete glacier. The middle of Greenland is. Biggest choke since 28-3. Yeah, it is crazy, man. 92%. I mean, and that's January. Carney was sitting at 0 because he wasn't even the candidate at the time. Amy Klobuchar was calling out Trump. Who cares, honestly? Got to get the new Titan Stadium. Yeah, the new Titan Stadium, I think, is 2027. It would be, I believe. Because the Bills is 2026. Do you think the polls are overestimating liberals in Canada? Possibly. It's possible. A few polls have already been released that show a liberal dip after the debate. Young voters came in record numbers after the debate. Yeah, I saw a poll that had conservatives up by 4. Now, whether or not that holds with a conservative minority, I guess we'll see. I mean, even in this, they've got a liberal minority. 166. They had them at like 174 a few days ago. But then you've also got the NDP with 11. Makes sense. Boomers are libs. They're generally pieces of shit responsible for all the crap. I know there's been a lot of boomer hate recently, and because just of where the West is in general in terms of the ridiculous costs, and now boomers are voting left wing as well, which is obviously pretty insane. But even in the United States, boomers, I think Kamala won boomers by like 1 point or 2 points, which honestly is it's better for Republicans. You'll take the younger vote for sure. But it's interesting. All right, let's look at some of this stuff that I had saved. Pedro Pascal comes out as pro-life. Can't think of anything more vile and small and pathetic than terrorizing the smallest, most vulnerable community of people who want nothing from you except the right to exist. He comes out in support of white people, who make up 7% of the world's population. That's a nice statement for him, for the white people. We appreciate that. Here's another one. I wonder if this one's going to get the same amount of coverage. I mean, this is like daily. Dude, I don't even think this is real. Clearly self-defense. Ugh. Latino men voted for Trump. By a lot. Mm-hmm. 92% of black women voted Kamala, or was it 94? Black men, it was 80-20. No, I think it was 92-8. It was, I don't remember what it was. Maybe I was looking at polls before the election. I remember it was like 92-8. Black women, yeah. Are the president's polls truly lower on the economy? Well, I mean, it's not surprising if they were lower. Look at what happened. You know, this is a reaction to the stock market. So they're going to be down a little bit. And I'm sure they're going to be back up in a few months when the stock market recovers because of all these trade deals that happen. So this is just how the ebbs and flows happen early within an administration. There's really nothing to be worried about with the approval. Yeah, no, that's another thing in terms of black men versus black women. A lot of black men don't vote in elections, so even if it was like, well, they're voting more so for Trump, black women vote so much more than black men. Mm-hmm. Canada, they have free healthcare. If you're sick, you can go and sleep for a few days in the hospital and it's free. Well, it's not free. No, you pay for it with other taxes, and also it slows everything down. Look, I understand we're very wealthy, but we just have such a fucked up situation. It really goes to the Federal Reserve, the amount of taxes we pay and the deficit. I mean, this country seriously has healthcare is certainly another big issue, but there's so many problems. Social Security is a major problem. Approval rating doesn't matter 3 months into a term. Yeah, but the thing is people want, you know, the problem is we live in the here and now, and people are like, well, did it really go down? I try and explain to people, you know, it's irrelevant, but I understand it's a reactive society, so people are going to ask, well, why is Trump's approval rating down 1% or up 1%? So it's understandable. If conservatives get the minority, we're bound to go back to the polls within the next 12 months. Most of the parliament would be left, and they can vote out Pierre with no confidence. So they would just call for it. The parliament is left, and they just call for another election. Nothing in life is free. Well, yeah, everything has an assigned value. It just depends how it's being paid for. We pay for Canadians' defense. That is true. And I mean, if I was within Canada, it's like, what do you really do? You don't have the population to even mount a ridiculous military force, anyways. Based off your location, based off of who you're bordered with, just the United States will defend you. That's just how it is. They just don't have the population, anyways, to build up any crazy military, so they don't even try. and they have the United States. If they didn't have the United States, it'd be a lot different. Are there a lot of protests going on? Yeah, I mean, there's always protests during the weekends now with Trump and with the weather getting warmer. It's just going to happen. I haven't really seen anything crazy, but people report there's a lot of protests going on right now. Favorite Tim Dillon quote is, "I am a white Christian male, and we're the ones who always win." LOL. Yeah, I mean, as long as there's not white guilt involved. You were at the you were at a walk-in clinic 2 weeks ago, and at 8 in the morning, lineups are insanely long. That's brutal to have to be sick or to have something to where you're seeing a doctor and there's like a massive line. Yeah, that's and then it's like they're giving you a cookie cutter 10-minute thing. They got so many patients. I mean, that's no way to administer healthcare. They protested JD Vance's house. Yeah, I mean sometimes they do that. They go to the house of the people. There's really not there's no big issue with the Canada is basically a giant spoiled suburb of America. Why are our populations so different, Canada versus United States? Well, yeah, they do have a lot of uninhabitable land, especially in the winter. I mean, those territories are ridiculously cold, the three northern territories. But even if you look at the population heat map, they're all right. They're all extremely south. They're almost like their population is hugging the border with the United States. Canada LARPs as a country, but we truly own them. Yeah, I mean, but well, that's the power structure. The dynamic with the United States and Canada is they exist. That's fine, but in 30 minutes we could annex their country. It's and then they know that. But I don't want the United States to invade or anything like that. But that's just the dynamic of it. It's just based on how just our ridiculous buildup over the past centuries compared to what they've done. China gets Taiwan, Russia gets Ukraine, and we get Canada. Fair. Yeah, I mean, there would be a lot of European countries very angry. And China getting Taiwan is not a foregone conclusion. They would have a tough war. Canada is basically a puppet to protect us from attacks in the north, giving us time to assemble. Yeah, but I mean, even if anyone attacked us from the north, there would have to be such a big buildup for them to even do anything like that. Because how are you even getting to those territories? Are you going through Alaska? That's not going to be easy. It's just the geographical location is so amazing for Canada to be defended by the United States because of the oceans, because of the Arctic Circle. But also, it makes it to where their population is probably going to be small because of the climate. Nobody talking about harm student loans due to our generation because boomers require a degree. It's a vicious cycle. You pay and you're not even guaranteed a job after. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it a number of times how bad it is, especially with women, to where they'll all go to college and a lot of them get just terrible degrees, useless, or, I mean, I guess no degree is useless if you have one, but in a general sense, pretty useless. And a lot of them, I mean, their parents aren't paying for it, so you're 50, 60K in debt, 100K in debt with a shitty degree that'll get you maybe a job that entry level pays like 35, 40K for the first few years. and you've got 100K in debt, yeah, you're not going to be able to pay for a family with something like that. So it's a really bad system, college is. We should have taken Canada in the War of 1812. Well, that was when the British burned our White House down, and the Canadians act like it was them. Vance's house, is that seriously? Is that a thing? Yeah, this is, look at these people. Allies matter. For some reason, Canada has always been interested in annexing the Turks and Caicos Islands in the Caribbean. Would be nice to go to the Caribbean without a passport. Yeah, that's why I suggested Trump annex the Bahamas. That would be a good vacation spot for the United States. Yeah, it's just luxury without. I mean, really, I don't know if Canada's in position to be annexing anyone. But Turks and Caicos is a good vacation spot. Old boomers, old commies, paid protesters. I don't even know. I don't think these are paid. I think this is a passion project for her. It's a passion project. Canada is not a sovereign nation. It's a commonwealth monarchy. But I mean, yeah, but that's just in writing. That's more of a ceremonial thing. Did you watch the Tucker interview with the congressman talking about 9/11? Yeah, I watched that. I mean, there were some interesting things. I thought some of the stuff was bullshit. Some of it was interesting, though. Did you see the interview with Tucker and McGregor? Yeah. McGregor is trying to get his name known. I don't think he has a chance in Ireland at all. Plus, what he's running for is like a ceremonial position. There's no actual power, even if he wins. After Trump's presidents, what will Trump supporters be? What do you think? Where will they go? They're just conservatives mainly. I mean, there's a subset of MAGA that is not in tune with politics, so they might not vote for Vance in 28. Trump draws people to the polls, but they're mainly just conservatives. The party has just shifted to more of a MAGA type party, which is it's a form of right wing, but more populism, a little bit of nationalism. Apparently, Carney is leading in the polls, but seems like every Canadian you see say they're going for Pierre. Yeah, that's because the ones going for Carney, I mean, it's the same dynamic with like Trump and Kamala. That subset of people, they're just all old. But Carney right now is leading in the polls. There are some polls that show Polvier up, but not many. You pray Ireland can get its house in order. Yeah, it doesn't look good for Ireland. It's worse than the UK. They're more liberal. They're one of the most liberal European countries. Ireland is. So, and they've got a small island, and you're talking about the migration into there. I mean, that's some scary shit in terms of Irish people. Imagine Irish people be a minority in Ireland, bro. How retarded can liberalism get? I guess we'll see what happens. This is the height of MAGA. It's all downhill. Well, I think MAGA is just a subset for a further right wing movement in the United States. The country's got to get more right wing. It has to. But Trump is a great start. Sean, what's up, man? The whale. The whale enters. Do we get a tariff deal next week? I think we probably get one or two tariff deals. You can't really predict it, but we're probably going to get a few trade deals, I would think. It looks like Japan, very high chance of it happening relatively soon. South Korea, Vietnam. The origins of extreme liberalism. You said feminism in the 60s. I might want to do a video on that. I think it's important to really go back and digest the origins, because feminism dates back hundreds of years to the UK. But in terms of it coming in the United States, yeah, most people would say the 60s. But I mean, there's different variations of feminism too. And to see what it's produced now, and to me, it's like feminism is hand in hand with college, which is an interesting dynamic. But it's the idea of working, and I saw a tweet and I said it's like the most obvious thing ever, but it's like the reason our birth rates are down is because more women in the workforce. Well, isn't that the most obvious thing ever? I mean, that's what they say. That's what they preach when it comes to feminist ideology. They say we sacrifice way too much time with children and having babies. We should be working and doing things that men are doing. That's the whole point of it. So it's to give up the family for an individual goal in some corporation. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Logan is the one in WWE, yeah, the older one. And then Jake does the actual boxing. but he fought Mike Tyson recently. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, WWE is trying to go more mainstream with like people like Jake Paul, it seems like. Protesters were paid by Kamala. I don't know, man. These people, a lot of this is dedication. But these people, like, these are the people you want to have protesting you. Just look at them. You ever been interested in WWE WrestleMania going on? Yeah, I when I was younger, I mean, me and my brother watched WWE when I was younger, but that was like 2011, 2012, 2013, those years. What did Pete Hegseth do? Yeah, I don't really know. What is the big deal? He's like, oh, he told his mommy about a strike in Yemen. Like, what is this? Come on. New Jersey, I think that's a big one. New Mexico is relatively underwhelming in terms of how the country shifted relative to its shift. I think Kamala still won it by like 6 points. But I would say there's going to be big investments in New Jersey. There has to be huge investments still in all the Rust Belt and North Carolina. You were debating a liberal who said Russia would beat us in a war, the United States versus Russia. Like, what type of war? A ground war? I don't even know how that. They're just proxy fighting. Just where our countries are located. How can you trust a documentary these days from Netflix? Documentaries all seem to be anti-Trump and anti-American. I mean, it depends what it covers, what the documentary talks about, and your knowledge on the topic. Why don't you think the Thunder will make the finals? They seem like a regular season team. So do the Cavs to a degree. But I don't think the Thunder will make the finals. Netflix is going to make... I remember when Netflix partnered with the Oh, no, that was like... what was it? WWE.com? They had their own subscription. You had to buy the pay-per-views for like $40. And then they changed it to where it was like you get WWE.com and it's... Or WWE Network or some shit. That was a WWE Network, and you get it for like $10 a month or something. United States versus Antarctica. Yeah, that'd be a tough one, man. Well, we're not allowed to own any land in Antarctica. But maybe Trump will just take some. Piers Morgan bitching about being a Zionist. I saw he was critical of an Israel strike or something. Something like that. Will Fuentes and his Groypers gain power in the GOP in the future, especially with growing skepticism of Israel? Well, I think the GOP will shift to the right. I'm not a big fan of the Groypers, honestly, man. But the GOP will shift to the right. It's just a normal reaction out of the mass immigration. I mean, even the European countries, to a degree, are forming more actual right-wing parties. And there is a subset of people within the Republican Party that are critical of Trump, but Trump was never far right. He was never that. Now you can say, well, he's owned by Israel and all this shit, but it's like Trump was never going to be this far right white figure. That's just not what he was going to be. But he resets things to a degree in the United States. You know, you get someone like Mitt Romney. I mean, I just think you just get rid of the neocon aspect of it. Although we'll see what he does with Iran. I think Trump is putting people in a position of power to where, like Tulsi Gabbard, she said it's not going to happen. Israel really wanted to strike Iran. People within Trump's cabinet that he appointed shut it down. That happened. That's anti-neocon. What's the LeBron excuse when he loses in the first round with Luka? Yeah, that was a bad thumping they took at home. The West is just so not average. I mean, the West is good, but there's no like super great team. There's a lot of parity. That's what I want. A parity in the West. Have you seen the left-wing lady on Piers Morgan and other vids who has been leaking her pants over Luigi? Taylor Lorenz is who you're talking about. Yeah, she's kind of she was like a prominent, really liberal reporter. Now she just does Substack, I think. But the liberal women are just obsessed with Luigi because they think, oh, he stood up for people that were getting denied coverage in the United States. It's like such a simplified version. It's like a freaking rodent would say, oh, this is such a hero. He shot someone in the back of the head. That's going to change healthcare in the United States. And so, because now there's a conversation about it. But there had to have been a conversation about healthcare anyways, based on the amount that the United States spends on it relative to our outcomes. But I mean, the answer is the way you deal with it is not by doing that. But you know how women are. I mean, whether the dude they think justifiably killed someone or something, women like that anyways. It's weird. They idolize serial killers. Imagine how angry Nikki Haley was after Trump refusing to bomb Iran for Israel. Yeah, Rubio as well. No, I mean, I don't know. Apparently, even the neocons within the administration were kind of against it because it was going to require U.S. support. From what that's what the New York Times said. Yeah, I still have that subscription to the New York Times. I like it. The New York Times has story. You know, you can say, well, it's very liberal and biased, but if you read enough of the news, you'll be able to siphon through all the bias and things like that. But they do offer good information on their stories. Their stories are really long as well. New York Times, like that story that they put out with the Trump administration and the infighting in terms of what to do with Iran. That was a good story. I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter at this point because it's just all going to leak on X anyways. Dude, I have so many subscriptions. I'm gonna have to just get a new. I'm gonna have to get rid of this debit card because there's no way I'm gonna be able to. I can never find where do I have to get rid of the subscription. It's $20 here. It's $10. It's $30. I've had so many charges recently too, just in general, just for all these different things. Would Whitmer and AOC be the hottest ticket in U.S. history in 2028? Well, if you're a guy, I mean, that would be the only female ticket. So obviously. Remember when Nick Fuentes and the Groypers campaigned against Trump? How did that work out? Well, yeah, that's because he's got his own movement and he wants to be very right wing. But it's like that's the thing with him. You know, it's his own movement, so you kind of have to oppose Trump. If you're like a fanboy for Trump, where does that position you? So they want to have their own thing, but yeah, they came out against Trump and Trump performed very well. The New York Times games are kind of cool. Those games were huge during COVID. Jordan Peterson hasn't been the same for years. He went from being, yeah, well, he's just crying too much, man. He's just constantly crying. Well, he deals with, I think, drug problems and stuff like that. So you have to wonder, I mean, if you're Piers Morgan, is it really worth showing this dude crying? Like, really? And then they sit there and they say, well, this is good TV to get this off, and it's passionate. We don't want to see a dude crying, bawling his eyes out while he's trying to talk. Is this really necessary to post? Like, it's not, and this is not good. Just change the card. I mean, I'm going to have to, but then the problem is I do have subscriptions that I want to keep, so I'm going to have to try and find which ones those are and then transfer it, because I used to change cards. I haven't changed this card in like 2 years. It's been a while, and it's... Do you sometimes feel you have to get away from politics for a day? It gets stressful to read every day? Yeah, it's not too bad for me, especially now. I mean, at a certain point with the election, it was really exhausting, the same thing over and over again. But now it's a lot easier, I would say. I'm ready for big news. It's good for me. I can do videos on it. I can helps me with views, things like that. Get subscribers. So he got really into religion and has been very emotional since. Peterson, you're saying? Yeah. You're a huge fan of my videos. I appreciate it, man. Watch every single one after notifications. Yeah, well, I'll try and do videos on pretty much all the big news stuff. Like I said, it's been a little bit tough recently. There's just not been nearly as much news. So the Cavs won. Yeah, the Cavs easily won. You're facing a team that's terrible. Austin Metcalf's father is pathetic. Yeah, that's another thing. Did you guys see that with Jake Lang? Jake Lang came out and had a phone conversation with his father. And yeah, I mean, listen, the father is really, you could say, I think he's trying to process a loss, but I understand people think he's soft and he shouldn't be doing, because honestly, what he did was he immediately forgave the kid, Carmelo Anthony, and then he wanted to pray with the Anthony family at the press conference, and they kicked him out. It's like, come on. But I mean, it is a much bigger problem than just Metcalf, and I think his father is mad because they're trying to advertise Metcalf as like there's a bigger problem here, but then he thinks they're trying to use Metcalf as a pawn, his son. So that's what I think. Jordan Peterson's daughter is hot. Yeah, like Michaela, I think. I think she married someone or something. But she was like really big into the carnivore diet. Immediately forgave the kid who never apologized in the first place. Yeah, but you understand that's how it is with some of like these people. It's just it's all ultimate acceptance because they think that's what they should do. Like that's the Christian thing to do is to forgive. So that doesn't really surprise me that he did that. Will there be an Arctic war with Russia over Greenland? No. Russia would not fight the United States over Greenland. Why do people say she got with Andrew Tate? Jordan Peterson's daughter? Because I think she visited him and for a night or some shit. I don't know. I don't have the gossip on that exactly. Exactly. Carnivore diet seems too expensive. Steak and eggs every day would add up. Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to try. For a few weeks. Your energy levels would probably be shot though. I'm back to taking vitamins and stuff. I'm trying to do that. I've been dealing with just being anxious and stuff. Just it's from like an imbalance that I've had because of side effects off of something. Are you gonna watch the NFL draft? I mean, I'll definitely see it to a degree. I don't know if I'll watch it. I'll just see the picks. See the picks on the screen or something. You think Russia and the U.S. will end up as friends? It's a feeling. Well, I mean, if Republicans are in office, it's possible. Democrats do not want to be friends with Russia. The problem is we've got quick turnover in the United States in terms of our leadership. There could be a Democrat in office in 3.5 years, or I guess closer to 4 years. Yeah, people always. I'll take a look at it. We'll take a look, see what's going on there. Trump is right. They're lying about the MS-13. Yeah, this story's got to die. All right, I mean, at a certain point, violent criminal, illegal alien, and MS-13 gang member. He belongs behind bars and off American soil. Currency manipulation, V8, and this is really what I said. So this is what Trump wants in terms of negotiations. The countries to stop doing currency manipulation, VATs, which act as tariffs on export subsidies. Right. Well, yeah, they get hit, American goods will get hit with what they call VATs, which is like value added tax. I think is what it stands for. And so the importers will have to pay it, not the American companies shipping them over, like producing the goods and shipping them, but the importers pay it, which makes our products less attractive. Because if you're importing a product, there's going to be a tax on that. So dumping below costs, export subsidies and other government subsidies, protective architectural standards, no genetically engineered corn. I think some of these other ones, transshipping. Well, that's what China does. If U.S., Russia, and China become allies, would never happen. Nobody would ever touch us. Yeah, I mean, but that would be like, and then we'd all just pick off smaller countries. I don't see that. That's not feasible. But the United States has too much power, anyways. I could see something like that happening if they were all in relative same standing in terms of, well, maybe that would make them more competitive. I don't know. But I mean, obviously, there's a competition with China. They're very angry at the amount of power that we have in our economy, and they want to beat us. I'm not. That doesn't mean they want to invade us or things like that, but they want to be a more powerful country. They want to have more global influence. People saying Carmelo had felt serious threats by Austin in the past and brought a knife for self-defense. No way. That seems like bullshit. Seriously? But where's any proof that they even knew each other? Vance, I'm gonna play this clip just because this is just crazy. The amount of people. It's really just like two people, but it's just constant. It's a constant request.
Pray for you every day. God bless you. So good to see you. Good morning. How are you?
Find yourself.
Good. Yeah, thank you. Not been feeling great, but it's good to see you in better health.
Grazie, Santo Padre.
Thank you.
These are for your children.
Okay, thank you.
These are the gifts. These are also gifts for you.
Thank you.
It's
It's beautiful.
the Vatican tie, and then the rosaries for your wife, the white for your children, and the red one is for. Thank you very much for your visit.
Of course, of course. And thank you for seeing me. Pray for you every day. God bless you.
Io prego per lei ogni giorno, che Dio la benedica. Grazie, Santo Padre.
Happy Easter.
Yeah, I think he just got out of the hospital. Pope Francis. Pope out of the ICU, yeah. The MS-13 story being amplified to trick people into thinking mass deportations are happening. You think they're being, what, they'd be amplified by Trump? But I mean, it doesn't, to me, it's a double negative. People are going to know one way or another the mass deportations are not happening. Republicans are going to know that because of the numbers are being down, and then Democrats get to criticize the administration. But I think they're trying to amplify it because it was an actual mistake by the Trump administration, and they admitted to it. They could not deport him to El Salvador, and they did. But they could deport him anywhere else, so it's a weird thing. Carmelo is the left's Kyle Rittenhouse, only he killed an innocent. Well, also, Kyle Rittenhouse, it wasn't a race thing. It was two white people that were chasing him and shooting at him and trying to beat him with a skateboard. And he was retreating. Carmelo Anthony challenged Metcalf and said, touch me and see what happens. That's not self-defense when you challenge someone. Not in Texas. Well, no. When you look at self-defense laws, there also the other thing is Metcalf didn't have a weapon. When will you become the whale? I don't know. I'm making some good trades, honestly. Well, we'll see, but I'm making some decent trades. Gotta wait till the video evidence comes out. Yeah, it's really all we can do. But you can look at the police report as well. It didn't really seem like there was anything crazy from Metcalf. I would be surprised if there was a video and he was like really going crazy on him. Didn't they SWAT the murderer son's father? How fucked up is that? Oh yeah, they did 100%. They kicked him out. He wanted to pray with them at Carmelo Anthony's press conference. They kicked him out of there, and then they swatted him that night. This is the issue, and this is not just a singular thing with just this case. This is a bigger problem in the United States. And so at some point, the Overton window will shift far enough to where it gets addressed, but we're not there yet. Crypto segment. I'm still live. It's only been like an hour, dude. People always say I'm still live when it gets to like 2.5 hours. It's been like an hour 30. You're saying I'm still live? Come on, man. BTC is up. Why did he have a knife on school grounds? Yeah, well, should not be. And they say, well, because he was being bullied. It's complete bullshit. Where's the proof of that? How do you like your steak cooked medium rare? I like it, mine, yeah, probably medium. Not well done, because then it's chewy. It's like a tiry flavor if you do it well done. But I'm not a big fan of like blood in my steak. Do you know what the stand your ground law states about weapons? Nothing. Yeah, but it's also the situation at hand. Somebody pushing you doesn't give you the right to stab them in their chest. That's complete escalation past what Metcalf was doing. Because that somebody pushing you doesn't mean you have the right to fear for your life over that. And that's stand your ground. If you get pushed, you can stab someone in the chest. Really? The whole Carmelo story is no, it's not. I mean, the story is real. There might be certain fractions drumming it up to try and create a race war. That could be for sure, and that goes on online just in general when it comes to propaganda. But I don't think come on. It is a real story. You carry a knife? Did you carry one as a high school student? You think well done steaks should be a capital offense? Yeah, I mean, I've had a few. I guess it's not the worst thing. Depends how good the meat is. You heard he got into trouble multiple times for bringing a knife to school. Carmelo Anthony did. I didn't hear that, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. They say he was trespassing. Well, yeah, because it's like in a different tent. You can't. They're the reserved. I think that's what it was, or maybe he was just trespassing in school grounds in general. I don't know. Have you seen those white collar prisons with a pool, no real security measures? Well, they have very nice prisons in Europe. The prisoner rights in like Denmark, I think, are really good. Norway. Happy Easter. Google made no mention of Easter or 420. Google didn't? Well, yeah, it doesn't surprise me too much with Google how left wing they've gotten. Financial literacy should be class in high school. Kids should know what to be taught. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's a common thing. You need to be taught certain just normal life skills that they don't seemingly teach. Did you sell your weed coin yesterday? You sure yeah, no, I did sell it. I mean, this is what happened with it. So basically what happened with me and the weed coin, I bought it like back here. It's like around 140, 150. And I probably, I try and just sell out of it in waves. So I didn't sell it up here, but I probably sold it like right here. And then I sold it again here. And then I sold the rest like right here. So I made good money off of it, honestly. So I'm happy with it. I wanted it to go higher. No pun intended. But I wanted it to go to like 3 or 4 million. But it's all right. I'm pretty happy with the money I made. Now I'm in some of these DeepSeek coins because there's a new version of DeepSeek coming out. So that's what I'm into now. And also I DCA'd into NASDAQ. I DCA'd into SPX 2.0 and a few others. Dang, this troll coin. Man, they put this on Pump Fund and this did this. There's a troll Ethereum coin I was looking at. But yeah, that's basically it. Thoughts on Zora? Their token Enjoy? Yeah, I don't know about that, man. Aren't they coming out with their own coin though? Because I know they have the one token, and it really tanked. It's an interesting idea. Bitcoin 90K tomorrow. Is it pumping? Someone said Bitcoin was at 87K. There's actually Bitcoin stuff in here. Like, will Bitcoin reach 150? Will Bitcoin be above 85K on the 25th? I'd say probably, but reading comment sections on the Quarterings channel. He covers the Carmelo story is kind of scary. Didn't think relations were that bad. Maybe just his followers. What, race relations between whites and blacks? Yeah, I mean, also it's internet sensationalism as well. People they can post what they want, and they're anons, so they don't really have to center themselves. That's it as well. Tim Walt's daughter. Oh, this was the individual within Waltz's team that keyed a Tesla or something. Dude's with his dog going up to a Tesla. These people are just demented. They really are. They're so like, bro, what are you doing? But haven't they? I'm sorry about that. I don't know what that was. That was like a freaking lizard sound. In the real world, there is no race problem, just social media and news. Yeah, I mean, right now, I would say that's generally my thought. But I mean, the thing is, at a certain point, it'll probably reach a breaking point to where it spills over. I mean, look at the BLM bullshit. That stuff always starts on social media. The George Floyd stuff. Yeah, the dog is getting dragged around. Tim Walt's daughter claims Trump would have deported Jesus. I mean, my gosh.
If Jesus were alive today and in the United States, this administration would have already taken him and removed him from this country without due process, claimed he was a member of the MS-13 gang as a way to try to justify not giving him due process, as if there is any justifiable reason to not giving somebody due process. But yeah, some people don't want to talk about that. It truly is baffling how clear and laid out everything is, and there is still people standing by it. I believe in the good of people and like humanity, humans, deep down at our core, like we.
But what is she even talking about? I don't even know how you could like 2,000 years. It just doesn't even make any sense. Jesus would have been deported. Did you see the Massachusetts guy harassing a guy with a Trump hat? No, I didn't see it. You guarantee you that the Tiny Hats donated a vast majority of money to Carmelo? They want to rum up a race war? I don't know, man. I mean, what is the proof of that, actually? A lot of those people just donated $5 to $10. I'm not sure I buy that. I think it was, blacks rallying around him. A lot of it was that. But I know that's been a theory. She's making up some... But like, what are you talking about? Like, 2,000 years ago? Like, what even is the comparison of Jesus existing with Trump and then Trump deporting him? What? Jesus was an MS-13 gang member? Like, what are you talking about? But I mean, they for them, it hurts their own arguments to make up these ridiculous false equivalencies. Yeah, I heard about that $6 billion deficit with Tim Walz. Didn't they have a surplus? And now they're down to a $6 billion deficit. What was it? Government programs? Was it having to give money to all the small businesses that got burned down in Minneapolis? It's just emotional manipulation, but it's not even good. But I'm just so over. I'm like, there's like a dullness that lulls me to sleep when it comes to any of these liberals with their TDS on Trump. I just doesn't. It's the same stuff, and Trump hasn't even deported the amount of people that we want him to deport. He hasn't deported enough people, and you're yelling at him for deporting a frickin' MS-13 gang member. What are we doing here? So it's like it's not even like Trump's gone extremely hardcore, like Bukele did with the prisons in El Salvador, to where they got some innocent people because they wanted to get as many as possible to get everyone off the streets. It's not even close to that. $6 billion deficit from tampons. Yeah, I mean, you gotta get the when you install them in all the bathrooms, including the male, it's gonna add up some money. Remember the USAID condoms in the South Sudan, condoms in Nicaragua, and they're like, well, it's to prevent diseases. Doge cuts need more. It's not going to happen. They've announced it's going to be around 150, 160 billion. That's pretty much it. I mean, I wish it were more, but man, the Mets are 15-7. They've gotten off to a good start. We're in a civil war. I mean, what does this even? What are we talking about here? Are you running in 2036? Yeah, I'm running against Vivek in 2026 for governor of Ohio. What do you mean? Am I running in 2036, man? For what? We know Tim Walz will be forgotten in history, but we hope we can always remember him for good. Well, he'll be remembered to a degree because he's a VP candidate. What chances do I give the Cowboys for making the Super Bowl? Maybe a 1% chance. Less than that. No, like a 2% chance. Vivek talked about the protesters. Well, I'm sure he did. I mean, he's been doing the whole tour in Ohio because he goes everywhere. Vivek does when he does this. Remember when he went to the Iowa caucus? Dude did like 6 rallies in a day. He got like 1% of the vote. No, he got like 5% maybe. I shaved that. Well, I didn't shave, but I trimmed my beard down to the lowest one. Basically, I have no beard at this point. I think it probably looks better, honestly. Who's worse, AOC or Jasmine Crockett? Well, AOC has way more potential. Crockett, you could say they're both annoying, but AOC has a lot more ability to gain political power in the United States than Jasmine Crockett does. Better campaigner between Reagan and Obama? Reagan. At least AOC is kind of hot. Well, she might. We'll see if what she does. She definitely has a group of young people that like her, but I think it's like the Bernie group. It's certainly not anywhere close to enough within the Democratic Party to, I think, win the nominee, but she'll make some noise on the debate stage for sure. Can you do a video on who you'd vote for president going back a few decades? I mean, it'd probably be mainly conservatives or Republicans. I mean, you could argue, though, some liberals were more conservative back then just because of where the United States was and where we've shifted. So, I mean, but it'd be mainly the conservatives. But there'd be some, I mean, like W. Bush, that's a hard one to swing. And it's mainly because of Cheney, but say no to Vivek. We don't need thousands of Indians flooding Ohio on H-1B visas. Well, I don't think that would really happen, but it doesn't even matter. If Trump endorsed him, I would be very surprised if he lost. I mean, Ohio tends to be a bit closer when it's an off year. I mean, Vance only won by like 5 or 6 points in the Senate in 2022, and it was kind of like not a great performance. But remember, Ohio went right by 11, so Trump won it by 11. What did Moreno win by, like 7 or 6, something like that? It might have been like 4. I don't think Moreno performed very well compared to Trump. But Brown was beloved in Ohio, so that was part of the reason as an incumbent. AOC political 8.5, but a normal 5. Isn't she? It feels like AOC is tall. Like, how tall is AOC? I mean, you know, the women politicians, they obviously wear high heels all the time, though. But she's still tall. You're from Ohio? Am I from Ohio? I'm actually from Alaska. Mm-hmm. Five four, AOC only 5'4", and that is a good weight. That's a good height for a woman. You know, I'm like 5'10". You want a range of like 5'1" to 5'6", 5'7" is a good range. I'm from the great state of West Dakota. Same height as Dr. Fauci. Yeah, Dr. Fauci's like 5'2". Dr. Fauci said that he'll go on Rogan if him and Rogan have a height battle. Who's taller? I think Rogan's taller than Fauci. Fauci's like a hermit. .5'10" is the perfect height for women. No, that's too tall. X, I appreciate it, man. $4.99. The bizarre talking points come from Reddit, and CNN politicians have been parroting the same headlines from Reddit. Yeah, I mean, Reddit is very left. There's no doubt about it. It's far more left than is an actual representation of the United States. I don't really go on Reddit much for political stuff, really at all. I really don't use the Reddit at all for political stuff. I haven't been going on Reddit recently much, though, myself, just in general. It's just been an app I've kind of phased off of. I mean, there are some Reddit will give you good in-depth conversation if you find the right expert or certain threads with actual humans rather than using, but now you've got ChatGPT, so it kind of makes some of that obsolete. But before ChatGPT or any of the language models, Reddit was good in terms of, if you Googled something, you had a question on like a historical topic, a lot of the times the Google search was just always shit. The Google searches always lacked nuance, but now you got like ChatGPT that can give you it and stuff. 5'4" to 5'7" for women. Like 5'1" to 5'7" is fine. Favorite Biden clone was 6'3". That one was really bad. That was really bad. They must have the clone that they probably had ready to go got really sick. He couldn't come, but that one was really bad. I saw that clip on Rogan, and it was insane. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Crypto ending green, surprisingly. There's no ending to crypto, bro. It's open 24/7. But you mean like the week? Ending the week green? Waiting for the Nick Fuentes collab. Well, I've got a collab lined up. Not with Nick, but I've got some. I might have a few collabs coming up. We'll see. I'm trying to do more collabs, honestly, with people in my niche. Political YouTubers, Republican YouTubers. And I think it'll be better for the live streams. How does the market go tomorrow? Well, let me take a look at this. Oh yeah, guys, here's another thing. Go ahead and follow my Rumble. Because I know you guys pretty much, you watch every live stream anyways, just in case something happens. I don't think anything's gonna, I just want it as a backup. So this is my Rumble. I am verified, by the way, because they gave me a deal to make me verified last year, but I haven't posted anything in a while. The problem with Rumble is it's not really, the algorithm is completely effed up on it. Like, seriously. Like, look at this. How do I get 42K views and then 870 views, 78? This is like sporadic views. But then I don't even get the proper number of likes either. But, yeah, that's my Rumble. I wanted to add that there. But, this is the future. Oh, the futures are in red. That's great. No, it's not going to be bad tomorrow. What's my second channel? DG2. It's hard to find. When you search it, you gotta go to the channels. You're not gonna find it if you just search it and look through the videos. You gotta go to search and then go to channels, and then it's I think the top one. Maybe you were getting shadow banned. No, it's the Rumble wouldn't do that. It's just weird with their thing. Sometimes they elevate your video, sometimes they don't. It's really strange. Problem with Rumble is they're simply not YouTube. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like YouTube. YouTube is just functionality. It's wise. It's way better. You want most of the stocks to... I want most of the stocks to be red. Well, I want crude oil to be red. Crude oil is at 63. It was at 61. But I want the market to lull for the next few months. I think it's good for Trump. But I mean, now we've got this whole thing with Powell and him trying to get rid of Powell, so we'll see. I mean, the rates have got to come down in June. I think we can all agree on that. If that doesn't happen, then yeah, there's going to be problems with Powell. And it's not really Trump's fault. Did you see the conspiracy that Trump is going to start paying events to host Biden so he can keep talking in the news looking like a senile old man? I mean, but Biden, like, what is Biden going to do? A speaking thing where he speaks for 5 minutes and then that's it? That's really all he can do. So I don't really think I think that's more just funny. How's the Xbox holding up? My Xbox is doing well. I have an Xbox Series X. It's the big bulky one. Like rectangle. You want the market to be down for your own future gains? I used to root against crypto because when I wasn't in the market, that was a while ago. I've been in for like a few years, but I used to root against it because I didn't have any crypto, so I'd want it to go down. But I've been rooting for it like for 2 straight years now, or a year and a half. How evil do you have to be to keep interest rates high, screwing every citizens because you dislike the president? Well, I mean, look, he's been very patient with Powell. He has. I mean, Powell lowered the interest rates in September when the inflation was worse than it is now. By a lot, inflation was worse. But it was going down, but now it's down even lower. So my guess is Powell is saying, well, we don't really know. It's an unknown time. We'll see what happens with the tariffs and everything like that. But we're going to have to get this lowered, especially if things continue to progress the way they are. And I think there's going to be a big problem with the May meeting because they're not going to lower them at all. And so that might be when Trump really pressures for the removal of Powell. I don't know if it'll happen. Thoughts on libs bitching on Switch? What do you mean, the Nintendo Switch? Yeah, because of the tariffs. They delayed the production of it or something. Seen the unboxing video on your other channel? Yeah, I still have that video up. He can't remove him. He resigns in 20. Yeah, there's some haziness over what Trump can do, but if Trump really pressures it, I think he probably will be removed. But technically, right, he can't just say, well, I want you removed so you're gone. It's more complicated than that. He has to find, like, prop cause or something to get him out. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this live stream. I'm going to end it here. But, thoughts about taking a short vacation from YouTube? I mean, we'll see what happens with the news and things like that. You know, one of the things I have to try and energize my channel in some way. I don't know exactly how. But this constant reliance on news and just doing videos on news, but I don't really know how to do that. Like what I would do. I was thinking about doing it last year during the election, but I never did. I have to like reinvent the. I don't want to reinvent the channel because then I'm gonna lose all the views. But I don't know. There's something I'm gonna have to do just to make the videos more entertaining. I think rather than just news shit. But it's like once you're into a niche, it's kind of, it's not an easy thing to get views on YouTube. It's really not. Like once you get them, it becomes easy. But gaming streams, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. Have a happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter nights. Crypto videos, that would not work. That would not work, man. Crypto videos are... There's not a lot of views in crypto anyways, especially when you're trying to, like, when I already have a niche of politics. All right, guys, I'll see ya.